Welcome to the C-Suite podcast. I'm your host, Graham Barrett from Money20 Asia here in Bangkok. We're producing these episodes in partnership with Audax, a comprehensive plug-and-play banking solution powering banks to launch scalable and compliant digital business models at speed. We're going to be interviewing a number of the speakers here on Audax's booth, and I really hope you enjoy the conversations. Very pleased to say I've been joined by Scarlett Sieber, Chief Strategy Officer at Money20. Scarlett, I only meet you in Amsterdam, in Las Vegas, and now here in Bangkok. How are you?
Let's add another continent to the list.
Let's do it.
I'm happy. Lovely to be spending time with you as always.
Yeah, it's great to see you again. So, well, this is year 2, isn't it, of Money20 Asia. It's the first time we've been here. It's a fantastic event, as we anticipated. What were maybe some of the key takeaways from last year and some of the big things that are happening this year?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, last year was our inaugural year here in Bangkok, and there's definitely some things that we're building from last year. So topics like cross-border payments, very hot last year. They're hot across all of our shows, but I would say arguably the biggest in Asia, and it's a really hot topic for us. So what did we do about that this year? We actually extended content as it related to cross-border payments, and then launched a white paper with FXC Intelligence on cross-border payments and adoption in the region, which is really interesting.
Oh, with Daniel Weber.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly, with Daniel Weber. So that was really great. AI, again, of course, we talked about this at the other shows. Everyone's talking about it, but what's nice this year is there has been an extension of that as well, and really going into the applications of it, the relationship with fraud and things like that, which has been very interesting. The other thing that we did for the first time in Asia was we did a closed door regulator roundtable last year. We've actually quadrupled the number of regulators at the show this year, so we have 20 plus. And we have a 4-hour closed door roundtable yesterday, where we actually facilitated the conversation, and we had the key ASEAN markets there. So we had Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, etc. So that was really great. So lots of the same and lots of new. And we, as you know, across all of our shows, we, while you may see some of the same companies, we really try to keep the content fresh speakers, fresh perspectives, fresh stories.
Yeah. Now, the overarching theme for this year's event is empowering humanity through collaboration, isn't it? Why was that chosen? What does that mean to you?
Well, it was chosen for a variety of reasons. So one of the things that is really important is that we do have global themes and things that we set out. So our global thing is really around creating the future. So that's what we did for 2025. But then with the theme that you just shared, that was for Asia specifically, because one of the things that we see, even going back to the question before, when you're thinking about things like cross-border payments and things like that, is fragmentation is a real thing. And because of the amount of currencies in this part of the world, because of all of the different regulations from country to country, it's harder than ever to move money, especially in this part of the world. And so collaboration is absolutely crucial. And the output of that is empowerment and actually making the world a better place. So financial inclusion is something that we spend a lot of time thinking about.
Excellent. Sounds brilliant. What are some of the standout announcements or trends, would you say, this year?
We've got a lot of them. Actually, it's interesting because as we're doing this, we are just wrapping up our startup lunch. Yesterday, we had our press lunch, and so we had a few key announcements. So one of them came from Google. So Google Pay is doing some amazing partnerships with Shopee, which they talked about, and they're going to do that first in Malaysia before anywhere else. We actually had MessageSpring announce a new product, essentially a new company underneath their larger company at the show yesterday, going into aviation and really about the booking systems for flights and travel and things like that, which was exciting. And then Lian Global. Of course, we're in Asia. Lian is a name synonymous with fintech and innovation in the region, and they are partnering here in Thailand and bringing some of the China Pay to the Thai market.
Cool. Let's move on to Islamic banking, if you don't mind, because I know there was some significant momentum around that topic last year at the event. What are your thoughts on where that space is going, and you mentioned embedded finance, how is that helping that sector as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, Islamic banking is a big part of the world that we're in now and beyond. And so we've continued to see the evolution there. We've had some sessions dedicated to it this year as well. It's a 4 trillion plus opportunity. You talked about announcements a moment ago. One of the announcements last year was from an Islamic bank, and how they were going to expand their services further digitally. So we had some other great sessions here today from Bank Islam Malaysia, the chief digital officer there, audax actually, who's with us today, was part of that session. And so we've had a lot of good interest so far. And even, more beyond that, one of the things when we talked about some of those key ASEAN regions and having Malaysia here, we had many different parts of the Malaysian regulators come to the show this year. So we have the Securities Commissioner, we have Bank, Malaysia Negara, and so much more. So we're really excited about that.
Now, one thing we know is that Money 2020 never stands still. So let's look forward. I know we're only halfway through this event, but what do you think the future holds for Money 2020 Asia?
Yes, so many things. Of course, this is the show is in the second year, so we see growth and expansion. We're very excited about the region, obviously coming from fintech and thinking about this a lot. We see some tremendous opportunity with Money 2020 Asia, and could be the biggest event in the future. We are also going to Riyadh this year, so maybe we'll add another continent, continent onto the list. So we're having our first Money 2020 Middle East show this year, and we're also we announced this in Vegas, but we are going to have our first Money 2020 awards, known as the Money Awards, and we expect to have a very strong Asian presence there as well.
Excellent. Thank you for that comprehensive roundup. Always appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Scarlett, Sieber, thank you so much.
Always happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Joining me now is Billie Setiawan, who is Head of Data Management and Analytics Division Head at Bank Negara, Indonesia.
Yeah.
Billie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Great to see you here at Money 2020.
Thank you for inviting me.
Not at all, not at all. We'll start with an introduction, if you don't mind, to Bank Negara, Indonesia, please.
Okay. So Bank Negara Indonesia established in 1946. We are a first state-owned enterprise bank, so we owned by the government. We actually, sort of have a portfolio based from wholesale all the way to retail segments. So we covered, a lot of segments, all segments from, corporation all the way to retail, actually, a little bit on micro. We have around 1,800 branches across Indonesia. We have 17,000 islands, basically, in Indonesia. So we have to actually cover all the networks there.
So geographically, that's quite a challenge.
It's a challenge. That's why one of the initiatives that we have, not actually initiative, is already there. We have agent banking as well. So basically, if you cannot be present in a smaller cities, a smaller town or villages, then we have sort of a person, a guy, a person to actually, offering some standard banking products, right? Or help them to do some transaction if they are unbankable.
Makes sense, because you can't be everywhere. It's impossible. Yeah.
And we're actually an international bank. We have 10 branches in 7 countries. One in the UK, some in Asia, the latest one in Australia, actually. So and also one in the US. So I think we are really targeting not only a local people or corporations, but we also sort of targeting their value chains, right? Because I think we have quite number of large corporations, and of course they have their partners, their ecosystem that we want to target. Not only the individuals, but also the smaller partners in other countries as well.
Okay, well, let's move on to the session that you had here at Money 2020. It was all around driving inclusive finance through hyper-personalized digital banking. So how would you define that hyper-personalization, and what kind of technologies are you leveraging to deliver those experiences for your customer?
Yeah, okay, so I think talking about hyper-personalization,
it's a buzzword. What does it mean?
It's a buzzword, right? So basically, what we would like to really have, we want to be there for the customers, right? Either giving the best offer, really understand the situation, really understand where it is in terms of our customers' conditions, right? So we want to really targeting the right offer to the right customers. there's a terminology now, hyper means, before they actually the customer knows what they want to do, we actually knows already, right?
You're one step ahead.
One step ahead.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, how can we make sure that we are offering enough to the customers, not bombarding a lot of offers, so they become confused and become irritated, right? Let's maybe sometimes we have to go back to our disciplines in terms of really understand when to contact the customer, how to contact the customer, what channels and everything, right? So with the technology, I think there are a range of things that we have to prepare. One is, of course, the platform, the channels. We have mobile banking in BNI. We call it Wonder. It's a super app platform. Not only the customer can actually do basic banking transaction like transfer or pay bills, but also if you want to buy tickets, concert tickets, if you want to buy train tickets or plane tickets, we actually provide it in one single app.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also have BNI Direct for our wholesale customer or for our corporation, to basically for them to do cash management, some trade products, bank guarantee and everything. So we really embarking to a journey where we want to focus on our digital initiative like Wonder and BNI Direct, to make sure that for our retail customers, BNI is becoming our main account, right? So they do all their main activities or their financial activities with us. And for our corporations or wholesale customers, we want to make sure that their operating account is with us as well. And their surrounding partners like retailer, distributors, suppliers, and everything, including their payroll customers, is within BNI. So all the financial traffic, or
it's all connected.
is all connected with BNI.
Okay, awesome. Let's keep on the digital theme and talk about how you utilize data and technology, and particularly how you do that to build a more inclusive and connected financial ecosystem.
Yeah. So talking about technology, and perhaps since I'm focusing on data, we have a set of technology that actually future-proof, right? To make sure that we can cater big data as well as clean data. We are applying our data governance framework within our data. We're collecting all the data from all surrounding systems. We actually process them, and we do a lot of initiatives, digital initiatives, such as how we make sure that we first the target will be revenue growth, cost optimizations, as well as a faster decision making. Okay. So I think we have a set of technology, big data technologies. We also have a set of technology for processing the data as well for our bank. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, you've launched several initiatives in recent years. So you're probably well placed to answer this question about what innovations or emerging technologies do you see as the most influential, maybe, in terms of digital banking in the region?
Yeah, I think now we're talking about Gen AI, right? So
Always.
I think always there. But I think we have certain use cases that I think relevant for banking industry or financial industry, especially our bank. So Gen AI, we focus on product knowledge, for example, chatbot, chat GPTs, right? Other than Gen AI, we have AI technologies for doing some personalization, for example. How can we leverage our algorithm in terms of our machine learning to make sure that we can do fine tuning in terms of offering to the customers. Yeah, to make sure that they are well informed about our marketing program, and we actually target them at the right time.
Yeah. And what advice could you pass on? I mean, you've been through a digital transformation journey at Bank Negara Indonesia. What kind of best practices can you share for other banks who are looking to, transform and be sustainable and inclusive? What kind of advice would you have?
Well, I think based on the experience that I have, first has to be top down, means management support, right? Number two, we have to really understand what is the vision, mission of the companies. And from there, how can we translate into a digital initiative or data analytics initiative to make sure that we support all the whatever the goals that the bank wants to achieve. And lastly, I think people, right? I think we really have to have a set of team that have the same purpose, the same patience, right?
Yeah.
And then to make sure that they are not a data sort of a professor of data scientist, but we wanted to be able to have a sense of entrepreneurship, right?
Okay,
Just to make sure that we want to do a revenue growth initiative or we do the cost optimization. They think about how can we achieve the goals instead of having a complex algorithm, and then at the end, you busy of working on that, and then you cannot even test it, right, in a faster way. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Billie Setiawan, thank you so much for sharing your insights with me today, and thank you for joining me.
No, thank you very much, Graham.
Okay, I'm here with John Medina, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Philippine Bank of Communications. John, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to see you here at Money 2020. Well, let's start with an introduction to Philippine Bank of Communications, if you don't mind.
Oh, it's a fairly old bank. We're 86 years old. Traditionally a very focused commercial bank, but since the acquisition of the Lucio Co Group, which is a conglomerate focused on retail, we've explored and successfully tapped other markets.
Okay, awesome. Now, here at Money 2020, you spoke on a session, didn't you, called Navigating the Convergence of Physical and Digital Banking Services, a very grand title. What does that kind of navigation look like for the bank?
Well, we're an old bank, so of course we'll have a branch network. But we use digital to tap other markets and expand our reach because I guess it's more effective than adding more branches.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does that look like in practice then, your digital offering?
Well, there was an interesting insights that we got from a academic study that we worked with university on. And we were shocked that Gen Z, which would not have an importance put on physical branches, actually said that we prefer to bank with an institution that had a physical branch. Not because they'll ever go into a physical branch, but when it comes to money, if there's a problem, they want a physical place to run to to get help. And another interesting insight that we got was, I prefer to bank with you digitally, not see you in person. But as I grow older, when I get to the bigger stuff, like getting a mortgage or investing money later on, a physical face-to-face interaction is preferable. So that's really the Gen Z saying, we want to go traditional. Pretty much like music going back to vinyl.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that kind of retro
it's
feel.
Retro.
Yeah, absolutely. But that does make sense, doesn't it, when you think about it? Maybe we shouldn't be too surprised with that. Those big kind of life moments. There's a certain gravitas that comes with them, doesn't it? And if you're just doing it online, I guess they don't mean as much.
And for our corporate base, which is our historical customer base, there was never really an importance for them to visit branches.
No.
What they do is they actually send messengers or representatives to go to the branch to do the physical transactions, checks and cash. So how we've addressed that is we've done remote banking by putting physical presences in their offices. We do remote capture of their checks. We give them machines where they do their own check deposits in their offices, so they never have to give us the physical checks. For the retail customers that have retail branches where they sell groceries, for example, we put cash drop machines so that their daily till, we don't have to pick up. They just have the cashiers go to the back office machine, drop it in, their accounts get credited, they can monitor all the cash of their cashiers. Very interesting approach, which we found to be a nice problem to have during the pandemic lockdowns.
Right.
We were awash in cash.
Yeah, it's a good place to
Physical cash. So we had to share that cash with other banks because the central bank offices were closed. They couldn't get cash to the ATM, so we had to share it with other banks.
So
there, and
it's a great example, isn't it, of human nature and innovation. When a crisis comes, what comes out of that crisis. Really interesting.
And today we're still a net supplier of cash to other banks. Because of that approach, and we've become known for that.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So we do live in a digital first world, of course. So how do traditional banks evolve, do you think? What kind of strategies do they need to employ to adapt effectively?
Well, we took a conscious effort to do human-centered design, where you will factor in customer needs and experiences into developing the digital products and services.
Makes sense, yeah.
It doesn't make sense for you to preempt or to second guess a customer, right? You have to work with them. And an example that I gave yesterday was during the pandemic lockdown, we anticipated people needed remote banking concierge style.
Right.
Like if I needed cash, I couldn't go out, I'd have it delivered.
By a drone.
Well, like a messenger in PPEs.
Yeah.
And if you had documents that needed to get signed, we deliver it, pick it up.
Okay.
Not a big take up on that. The major take up was I needed a new card or a new replacement card. I'll have it delivered. But they didn't want to entrust important stuff like
interesting. Going back to what we were saying earlier. Yeah.
To a third party messenger.
Right.
Even though he had a nice uniform and everything.
Yeah. Let's move on to digital banking and banking as a service. How are you leveraging those things at the bank?
Well, we launched a digital-only platform in 2019, and we provided APIs and all the good stuff. To partners who needed it.
Yep.
We had a few pilots, but it's always the partner that doesn't have the time or the resources to get it up and running quickly. We had a bunch of stuff that was stuck in test mode with the partners for a while. It's funny, but the bank is ready, but the partners aren't.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very customer-centric approach. Everything you're telling me today, it's all about that kind of customer experience and listening to the customer. Yeah. Let's finish off with looking into our crystal ball and what the future may hold. Maybe if we fast forwarded 5 years, what do you think will be the biggest difference about how people interact with their banks in Southeast Asia?
Well, my spiel yesterday was different but familiar.
Okay.
Banking will be different, but it will still be familiar. The means to do this may change, but it will still be traditional financial services, maybe delivered differently. Because customer behavior changes, right? So we have to keep pace with that.
Yeah. But it will be more driven by the customer rather than you trying to second guess, as you were saying before.
You can't change human behavior, right? It's organic, and you can't predict it. As you said, there's no crystal ball.
No, absolutely.
And like the central bank said this morning, more than 50% of payments in the Philippines are now digital.
Right.
So customer behavior has changed.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure it will continue to do so. Listen, there are some brilliant insights you've just shared with us. It's been great to hear about Philippine Bank of Communications. John Medina, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm joined now by Vandy Leng, who is the VP and Head of Digital Banking at Hattha Bank. Vandy, how are you today?
Doing great, fine.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast. Let's start with an introduction maybe to Hattha Bank and your core businesses, if you don't mind.
Okay, so Hattha Bank has the roots as the microfinance because we have been operated in Cambodia market for over 30 years. Before we were the microfinance and later on transformed into commercial bank in 2020. Actually, it was acquired by Krungsri Bank, which is the bank based in Thailand. We are also a member of MUFG because MUFG Bank Japan, they own the Krungsri Bank. So we are part of the MUFG group. Our customer base are mainly in the rural area because of our microfinance business model. Around 80% are in the rural area. We provide basic banking service like loans, deposit, and later on just started to introduce on the digital banking service after we assemble our in-house team to build the retail mobile app from 2021.
Okay. So how do you manage that geographically, in those rural locations? Is that quite a challenge?
Obviously, it's quite challenging. We face some challenges both from the our bank side and also customer side because our sales team, they are not getting used to selling the digital service. They are not understand on that. So we provide a lot of training to them to understand how the digital service can help to increase the CASA balance because they just used to get like submit the application on paper, bring it to the branch, and then key in the data in the core banking, and then create the account.
Okay.
But on the customer front, the challenge that we face is even though we have like the online account opening using the eKYC, but our customer, they're not getting used to it. So what we did is we have the on-site account opening through the tablet, asking our sales staff at the grounds to meet the customer face to face and then assist the customer to open the account,
Right.
including the mobile app activation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke on a session, didn't you? It was called Crafting a Unified Experience for the Modern Customer in Digital Banking. What were the key points that you raised during that talk?
Well, it was a very interactive sessions. We have like 3 speakers joining the sessions. Each of us coming from different backgrounds. One from a digital bank in Vietnam, another one a vendor providing banking solutions across different regions, and Hattha Bank having a large customer base in the rural area, having low digital literacy. So everyone try to define how a unified customer's experience look like in
Yeah.
their own terms. So what we define here from a Hattha Bank perspective, we focus on 3 areas. One is the seamless, meaning that the service that you provide to the customer should be real time, no latency. Second is on the integration, because our customer base still needs some human touch. They still need some cash transactions performed at the branch. So we need to integrate the digital channels with the physical channels to deliver a very seamless digital channel for our customers. And the third element is on the consistency in terms of the UI design. So all the touch point that our customer interact, we try to ensure that the design is consistent. So this is how we try to define the unified customer's experience. That was the key topics.
Okay. And what do you see as the key trends you've mentioned mobile banking. What are the key trends in mobile and digital banking in Cambodia at the moment?
Well, I would say that even a small bank, a new bank, established bank, everyone, they're trying to build their own mobile app to serve the customers. But with the recent trending now, big players right now, they're trying to offer personalized themes. For example, if you are Gen Z, you can change the themes to a very cute puppy themes in your mobile app. And when you are in the, for example, the Khmer New occasion, you can change themes to the Khmer New occasion or water festival in November or year end. So personalized theme is the key trend for some major banks in Cambodia, I would say. But on the national level, I would say the most trending one is on the QR payment. Thanks to the initiative from the central bank, they have implemented the Bangkok system, which is the central bank digital currency like payment system.
Okay.
It is often cited as one of the most advanced blockchain-based payment system deployed by a central bank. So with that platform, it enables the real-time interbank transfer, as well as providing the national QR payment platform for all the banks in Cambodia. So with that QR payment system right now in Cambodia, we have more than 4.5 million merchants, starting from micro, small, medium, even to the large merchants. So they have the QR, and all the bank app user can scan that QR to make the payment seamlessly. Very low cost, affordable. There's no need of card. There's no MDR involved in this, so everything is free.
Wow.
So everyone is using the QR. Imagine in Cambodia before the COVID, if you go out and then you forgot your purse, then this is in trouble because you don't have cash or card, plastic card. But now, if you go out and then you forgot your phone, your smartphone, you are in serious trouble. You don't have money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the very trending. And right now in Cambodia, the transaction processed through the QR is around 600 million transaction in last years. In terms of the volume, this is around 3 times of the Cambodia GDP, so equivalent to 150 billion US dollar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's where we are now. What about what's coming next? What do you think are going to be the next big steps in finance and digital banking in the region?
I would say for Cambodia, I would say in the overall, okay, everybody is talking about AI. Yesterday I talk about the AI as well versus humanity, whether AI will replace human job or not. Of course, AI has huge implication in the banking sectors. It has positive impact on all the bank's domains, ranging from sales, assisted customer service, underwriting, HR, credit assessment, all of this. But I want to touch on something that is more practical, especially for even smaller bank. Smaller bank, they cannot afford to implement the AI because of the large data set requirement. So the next big thing in Cambodia could be on the open banking
Okay.
and open finance, because this is very important for the customers to control all the account in one single app. Right now, if you have 10 bank accounts, you need to install 10 bank apps to manage your balance. So this is like crazy, right? But because of the regulation is not ready, even though the government have a plan in their 5-year roadmap of the technology roadmap, I think once this is ready, this will be the next big thing in terms of the open banking. The second one is on the embedded finance, because right now we don't see much in Cambodia where customer, if they are on the non-banking channels, they need to switch out and then log in into the bank app to perform a transaction to make the payment. So embedded finance will play a bigger role, I think, for banks and fintech corporation, and also with the non-banking players as well. So this will play a bigger role. But on the Asian levels, what I could see will be on the low-cost QR cross-border payment.
Okay.
Yes, because now the central bank in the Asian countries, they are trying to work on the QR cross-border initiative. So that's called the Project Nexus. So, for example, Cambodia alone, we have been working with Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, China as well, and India, Japan, South Korea. So that will permit our users, app users, traveling to that countries to make the QR payment seamlessly. So I think that will be the next big thing in the Asia.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe we can chat in a year or two's time and see how those innovations are playing out.
Absolutely.
But Vandy, Leng, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Pleased to say that I've been joined by Zokhir Rasulov, who is the Chief Digital Officer at ABA Bank. Could you maybe introduce ABA Bank to start with and how the bank is positioned within Cambodia's rapidly evolving financial landscape?
Well, sure. My pleasure. I'm a Chief Digital Officer at ABA Bank. Joined the bank since 2012. So basically, I was following the bank from the all this development curve. So as of today, ABA Bank is the number one largest bank, and it's with the focus in digital. Bank is due to it has a quite broad presented ecosystem, digital ecosystem, and this is how it's well known in the market. Throughout this year, bank been investing quite heavy funds into the digitization, and we've been pioneering digital banking in Cambodia, and that was one of the key factors bringing the ABA to the leading positions.
Yeah.
So ABA is presented in the market with the different digital touch points. On the retail segment side, we introduced our most popular banking application. It is in the format of lifestyle banking super app. From the other side, we are offering a few platforms for business segments. Here is for merchants. We introduced our Payway the payment platform. It's all in one. It's designed for online and in-store merchants, and it's serving currently close to 1 million merchants across the country. It's quite large. We have one more platform called Zone. It's mainly designed for the businesses to collect payments, like the phone top-ups, utility payments, and so on. Plus, we added new big modules for it. It's building the mini apps because it just contributes to our super app platform.
Yeah.
And the third for platform is the ABA business. It's mainly online banking for corporate and small and medium businesses. It offers mobile and web interfaces. So based on these four platforms, we have managed to set up quite sophisticated digital ecosystem that serving each other. I mean, the retail on the mobile banking side segment connected through ABA to our business customers, through the merchants, the vendors, and the businesses, where through this closed ecosystem, they interact with each other efficiently, smoothly, seamlessly, and cost-effectively, importantly, which is free.
Now, you're talking there about kind of driving broader financial access across the whole of Cambodia, and you've spoken about ecosystems. So how important are partnerships and ecosystems to drive that financial inclusion?
All right. I think it's very important, again, especially if the bank managed to build or has a good level of trust to attract the customers. But the ecosystem, having your ecosystem pays to seamless interaction between different touch points, between different type of customers. As I said, the retail and the businesses can make transactions seamlessly with each other, as well as the business to business and so on. Ultimately, it pays to the being within the one ecosystem. Businesses and the clients are enjoying by having the cost-effective transactions or even free. In our case, it's completely free. This is how this is where we see the benefit of being within the ecosystem. But it's not easy to execute. But once it's managed to done, everyone will benefit from this.
What trends are you observing in Cambodia's banking sector at the moment, and how do you see that space evolving?
Right. First of all, just to give a bit clearer picture, describe what is Cambodia. Cambodia is a quite unique country. I would say, from my observation, it's one of the unique in the world. Due to the past history, due to the civil wars started like from the mid of 70s and been continuing until the early 2000s, I would say, right?
Fairly recent,
And Cambodia started its development path relatively recently. In the early 2000s, and this is why even we are next to Thailand or next to Vietnam, the landscape is different, the culture is different. This is why, but it creates a lot of great opportunities. The young population, they have no legacy in terms of any perception of technologies, old technologies, because, for instance, like there is a mobile only on the retail segment. Penetration of mobile devices is quite high, as well as the internet, and the cost of internet through the telcos, it's quite accessible.
So that's quite interesting. If you think it was kind of like for more developed nations, maybe there was a stepping stone for that before mobile banking, whereas they've just gone straight to it.
Exactly. Because of look at this. Now what does Cambodians or ordinary Cambodian, average Cambodian using mobile phone for? They don't need TV. They don't need they're chatting between each other, calling, video call, social media, reading news, books, everything is a smartphone, right? So it's a lot of saving. Who needs PCs as an alternative? But PCs are mainly used by the young students or business segment. So this is why the banks are heavily relying on the telco on the mobile phones, because this is very important, having the good collaboration with the telcos. The trend and demand, or the future trend, I would in Cambodia, I think it's the the digitization amongst all banks is a common objective. It's a common goal for everyone. Everyone in a different stage of the digitization. Almost all major banks are offering digital onboarding through the eKYCs. ABA was first who introduced the eKYC onboarding 3-4 years ago. Nowadays, like for instance, I can speak on behalf of ABA. Today's, like as I said earlier, our app became a financial lifestyle super app. Basically, from the banking app, it's no longer interesting to have to check your balance in the mobile banking app, because you pay all the time, even when you sleep. This is how I'm saying. You use aircon, you use electricity, and it's just always money is ticking in the background mode, right? So making payments become so easy with digital payments, like taking a ride-hailing taxi or Grab, or on the go, paying coffee, ordering the food. Just payment is just running.
Yeah, they're always running. Yeah,
without sound, silently, right?
Yeah.
So this is why, like, checking balance is just a default. It's just becoming the one of the components of the app. While now our customers can buy the cinema ticket, choose the seats, choose the right time, schedule, and so on. Order the coffee. Or book the massage, or a lot of services there, and more to come. You can chat with. We have also the Gen AI based virtual assistant, where you can ask all the questions, which is taking the great load from the contact center. Mm-hmm. There is a P2P chat we propose introducing it in a secure way of chatting. But basically, inside of the mobile banking app, you can do a lot of secure and useful lifestyle things. And this is where we see the future. And of course, AI is the future.
No, that's been brilliant. Yeah, thank you for taking us through that. It's Cambodia is a fascinating country in that respect, isn't it? So Zokhir, Rasulov, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you, Graham.
Pleased to say I've been joined by Adisorn Hatairatana, Head of Consumer Credit Risk Model at Krungsri Bank. Adisorn, how are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me there.
No, not at all. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. Now, in your session here at Money20 on credit decisioning for the new economy in Asia, what are the main challenges with current credit systems, and what changes are needed to better serve today's digital economy?
I think what we have done has been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are dimensions and there are new requirements right now that we need to answer to,
mm-hmm.
and we need a little tweak on that panel. I think I have a partner who has his own take. He want to present his own take. For me, I think we're gonna need to move our conversation forward,
right,
to make it better. And if we are trying to introduce new idea in an industry that is pretty old, right, we're gonna need more than just one voice. So we need collective actions to help move the conversation forward.
Okay, so it needs quite, transformational change, in your opinion.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I cannot do it alone. But I'm lucky. I find people who share the same vision as me, that we have to move this forward, because we know in our own capacity in the bank, if we do credit risk analysis better, the banks would perform better, and it will drive the economy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what I was going to move on to, because, you're talking about a new framework, essentially, aren't you? So how can that help improve financial and digital inclusion in Thailand?
I think it starts from we have new requirements. For example, we have more stress testing. We have a new provision that's in place since 2020. Initially, we adapted what we have, right? But now we have experienced the ups and downs and COVID as well.
Yep.
We know these new requirements, we're going to need to rethink some of that, right? So that on that point, I think we have to reconsider how we do things.
Yeah. And what does that look like from an inclusion perspective then? How are you going to bring more people, into the financial ecosystem?
Right. So to me, from the previous question to this question as well, right? If we have more confidence on how we solve our problems, right? Not just adapting the old tools to the new problem. We innovate. We find a solution that's appropriate locally, right? We have more confidence. We have more trust in what we do. Then it drives into we being more efficient as an industry.
Yeah.
And effective banking experience, everything banking industry has proven to be useful to drive economy, and that's the financial inclusion to me in the right way.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah. What about technology? Thinking about things like AI. Obviously, that's a big talking point here at the show. What role is that playing in enhancing credit risk models and speeding up lending decisions?
I think AI is coming quick and fast,
Yeah.
right? And I think before we employ any AI, I think what we have to think about is how we monitor AI. Because when we start letting AI making decision, right, no human in the loop would be quick enough to monitor that. So we have to think about that as well.
Do you think there's still time to do that, or is the cat kind of out of the bag now?
Could be both, but we could always improve on that, right? And in terms of employing AI is one thing, but the other thing is that when we try to solve problem end to end, right? It's not just AI, it's just tool. It's just the way we think about solving the problem, the framework that we're looking at, right? And AI is a big component in it. But I like to invite people to think broader and look at the big picture, and maybe with hitting the ball in the wrong ballpark to begin with, right? You might be hitting with a really nice bat, but in the wrong ballpark, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
So while we entertain with the AI conversation, I like to invite everyone to think about how we solve the problem as well, right?
Absolutely. Now, obviously, from what you said already, you're very much a forward-looking person. You're trying to find the solutions for tomorrow, if you like. How do you see credit decisioning evolving in Asia's fast-changing economy, isn't it? How do you think that will evolve?
Well, first thing is that at least in Thailand, we're gonna have 3 new virtual banks coming up.
Okay.
So the competition will drive that. Another part, I think, it's more on knowledge, right? I think if we have the wealth of knowledge that we need coming into the industry, so I think that will help drive this. And by this thought, I try to, with the community, credit risk model community in Thailand, we try to bring in academic together with practitioner to see if we can work together and we can create a wealth of knowledge locally so we can derive for our own solutions.
And I guess, innovations will be important in that new competitive landscape that you're talking about there.
Right.
New innovations are going to be very important to stay ahead. Is that right?
Yes. And we hope to be able to do it locally as well.
Okay, well, Adisorn, Hatairatana, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Great. Thank you.
I really hope you've enjoyed these conversations from Audax's booth here at Money20 Asia in Bangkok. If you've enjoyed the show, please do give us a positive rating and review on your podcast app of choice. And if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do that via the contact form at csuitepodcast.com. You can also find me, Graham Barrett, on LinkedIn. But for now, thank you for listening and goodbye.